1, 1, 1, 2. So I just turned the house off. But see, you don't hear the house, but I got levels, so I know my mic's good. And that's the other. Yep.
Good afternoon, all. We're about to begin. Uniform members, please remain standing. Presentation. Ceremony unit, color guard. Please remain standing, and I invite Firefighter Brian Rosar to the podium.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Firefighter Palazzola. Please retire to the colors. Please be seated. Once again, good afternoon all. My name is Captain Andrew M. Brown, and I would like to welcome you to today's graduation of the 2020-2021 class of FDNY Officers Management Institute. Please welcome our first speaker, FDNY Office Managers Management Institute and Facility Director, Joanne Bainey.
Thank you so much. It is really, it always is an honor and a privilege, always an honor and privilege to be here, and I'm so grateful for all of you that are here, and so grateful for the graduates. Congratulations. You did such a beautiful job, and so very proud, and I know the faculty are also proud of you as well. This is a momentous year, and one that I know is going to be acknowledged in some way, as yet to be determined. But this is FOMI's 20th year, and it is, again, a major anniversary for this program. I like to think that FOMI has had a great influence on the department, and I believe that it has, because I see the graduates from past years and how they've advanced and how they represent themselves as leaders within this department. And it's really very heartwarming and impressive to see. I will recall, for those of you who don't know the story of how FOMI came to be, of course, it was born of tremendous tragedy of 9/11. After 9/11, McKinsey did a report that did an analysis of city agencies and where they could do something different. And the recommendation for the fire department is that there be more, I'm going to say, professional management and leadership training, because the chiefs were being asked to do things that they hadn't been trained to do. It makes me think about some of the presentations of today. So Commissioner Scapetta at the time got a call from Jeff Immelt, who was the new CEO of GE, and he said, "How can I help?" after the tremendous devastation. And Nick Scapetta said, "Well, let me think for a little bit," read the McKinsey report, and then called Columbia and said, "Could you put together a leadership and management training program for our future leaders of the department?" And that was 20 years ago now, and I remember very well the day that the fire department approached Columbia and the entire program was arranged. And I'm happy to say that I was involved in that very first year, and now we're in the 20th year. So very, very proud time and very momentous time. This is a tremendous group that you all had, graduates. I want to ask you to look around at one another. In fact, go ahead and do it now. Just take a moment and look around at one another. If you remember, it wasn't that long ago that we met on Zoom. The first few weeks that we were together was a Zoom meeting, Zoom orientation, Zoom first couple of weeks, and it wasn't until, I think, maybe the third week we finally went out to GE, and I had almost forgotten that we had done Zoom because we had such a wonderful time being in person again at GE, and that was really terrific. But I know that as you look around at your classmates, you see what wonderful people they are, and you are impressed by them. And I know that what you may not be thinking at that time is that they are also impressed by you. This really is a tremendous class, and you all added so much to the group and to the spirit of collegiality and learning. And I want to thank each and every one of you for doing that. The exercise that seems to impress everyone, I think every year the most, is the maze exercise. And it is one that I know is filled with tension and anxiety and mystery. And it is the one that people seem to learn the most from, because it really represents how exposed we are when we're in moments of uncertainty, and which is why it's such a great leadership exercise. Leadership is about taking people through uncertainty. And, each and every moment is a moment of upcoming uncertainty. And you all are experts at responding to emergencies, but there are emergencies in offices, too. There are emergencies in meetings, and there are moments of uncertainty where leadership is required. Of course, I'm biased to think about the most important part of leadership to be communication. I teach communication, so I'm biased in that way. But I really do think it is true that leadership is about communication. And it's about the expertise of persuading and influencing others, motivating them, being clear, having good strategy, being outstanding listeners, and, looking for collaboration and all the things that really were mentioned so beautifully today in the presentations, and I think throughout FOMI as well. And again, I appreciate your representing that. I want to thank, there's so many people to thank, and I want to start by thanking, of course, the people up here on the dais with me, Commissioner Kavanaugh, Chief Hodgins, Chief Esposito, and Chief Cassio. Thank you all for the support that you've given to FOMI over the years. The chiefs that I see in the audience here, Chief Pastilli and Chief Flynn, Chief Kavanaugh, and all the others, Chief Downey in the back, and so many others that are here. Malcolm, thank you. And the others who were here, Chief, you too, thank you. So many of you. But I'm so grateful not only that you're here today, but also that, many hands make light work, and we have been supported by the fire department in so many ways, in every effort. And that includes the advisors who come up, the speakers, the fireside chatters, the ceremonial unit. I mean, everybody. This is really a group effort, and I'm so grateful for the fire department in doing that. The person that has also made this several people made this very possible for us, Jean O'Shea. So grateful for the support of the foundation. Jeff Garofalo, who, again, so grateful for all of Jeff's maneuverings that he does. And probably more than anyone, I do really want to thank Catherine McGuire, because if you don't know how much Catherine does for the FOMI program, let me reinforce she does an enormous amount. And I thank you so much, Catherine. We really couldn't do it without you. And I want to thank my fellow faculty members who were here today. I don't know if they're still here on Zoom, but Bill Emick and Arvi Lukauskas and Kate, of course, Lynn Russell, Kate Garrett, Lynn Russell. Thank you, Kate. And for really the person who, above all, that I want to thank from Columbia is Monica Wiles. And because Monica really is the one who makes it happen. And those of you who know Monica from the program, you know what a treasure she is and what a pleasure she is to be around, and how we all depend on her, and she always comes through. So thank you so much, Monica. Before I finish up, I want to let you know what you're gonna get today. You also get things. You're gonna get a plaque. And it is, I want to say it's suitable for framing, but it's even better than that because you don't have to frame it. It stands on its own. All you do is you put a nail in the wall, and you're going to be very proud to have it there. It's plaque representing the program from Columbia University, and to get a certificate from Columbia, it really is no joke. It's an Ivy League school, and it's something to be very proud of. So I hope you will hang it in a place of prominence. You're also going to be getting an honorary certificate. Someone, you know who you chose. I don't know who you chose, but maybe some of you are within earshot that an honorary certificate has been designated by each and every member to thank somebody who has made it possible for them to attend this program, has carried the load for them, whether at home or at the office, so that they're able to have the time to attend the very demanding FOMI program. So that honorary certificate will be given to you as well. And then finally, you're going to get a little Columbia pin that, similar to what we were talking about in the Excellence Award program. We hope you'll think about, putting that pin on your lapel, and it has the Columbia insignia, and you're a member of Columbia now. So hope you'll put that on your lapel and wear it proudly. When you talked about your credos at FOMI, so many of you mentioned your parents. And those were very powerful comments that you made and very powerful stories, and I'm so grateful. It made me think about my parents and how, I think, surprised they would be if they knew that I was standing here with the fire department. But I'm very proud that I am. And I speak on behalf of all of Columbia when I say that. If you look at the letterhead for Columbia University, it says Columbia University in the city of New York. And we are part of New York City. Columbia is, just like the fire department is. Fire Department of New York City, Columbia University in the city of New York. So we're really sharing this space together. And on behalf of Columbia, I just want to say we're just so proud to do it. So thank you, and God bless the fire department.
Thank you, Ms. Maney. We will now hear from Acting Fire Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you. I was sitting up in the back there. So I don't know if all of you saw me, but I did see your presentations. And they were very good. And one thing I just want to note is that I know professional development was one of the projects this year, but I think really that's the project of FOMI, right, is professional development. And one thing I think about a lot when it comes to leadership and professional development that I don't think we talk about that much is becoming a leader is a big leap, as I think Joanne just referenced, because you go from tactical skills to what they call soft skills. And of course, that makes them sound easy, right? But they're actually some of the more difficult things that we do. Because they're soft, they're hard to get our arms around them, right? And they're the kind of things that are challenging in all parts of our lives. How to persuade others, how to be inspirational, how to take on a project, how to work collaboratively across groups, how to deal with frustration about a project, how to deal with funding, which is always one of our key items. I know Lizette's name is always mentioned in every FOMI project. And so, I think FOMI is so important, and professional development is so important for that reason, because today, by finishing FOMI, you're making that next leap. We all know that you're great tacticians of what you do. You're great fire officers, EMS officers, civilian managers, but now you're taking that next level from just being a manager to being a leader, and that's really important and really difficult, and so congratulations on making it there. I know that many of you in the future are going to come to lead a bureau, and you're going to look back on these days and you'll realize that these are the skills you use in droves. I know that Joanne is my professor as well, and I've gone through many of the modules that you went through as FOMI, and those are the things I have to use every day, including speaking in public, which is something I didn't used to like to do. So it's possible. I think that's a journey that you guys are beginning, and I congratulate you on doing that today and putting in the time. I'd also say what FOMI proves is that all great problems can only be solved with one another. I think we already know that in the fire department, but we don't always talk about it, again, in leadership. But there's no problem that comes to headquarters that is one that is easy to solve, because if it was, it wouldn't come all the way up to us, right? And by the time it gets up to the top, it takes everybody to fix it. It's nobody's problem. It's the fire department's problem to solve. And so I think FOMI is a really great example of that as well, especially we not only have people from different geographic areas, different ranks, but we also now have EMS, fire, and civilians all attending FOMI together, which is something that has evolved over those 20 years, right, Joanne? I think it started out just as fire officers. So I'm very grateful to see both of those things happening today. Very happy for all of you. Congratulations, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Commissioner Kavanaugh. Please welcome class speaker, Deputy Chief Michael Woods.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the FOMI class of 2022, I want to thank you all for attending today's presentations and joining us in the graduation ceremony. We would especially like to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh, Chief of Staff Liz Cassio, Chief of Department Hodgins, Chief of Fire Operations Esposito, Assistant Chief of EMS Pistilli, the FDNY Senior Staff Chiefs in attendance, and the executive civilian staff that are here. We want to thank Gene O'Shea from the Fire Foundation, the Columbia University staff, including Professors Joanne Bainey, Bill Emick, Kate Garrett, Lynn Russell, and Arvid Lukaskis. And of course, our favorite, Monica Wiles, for also being here today. Welcome to all the great presenters from the headquarters that came in during our time at FOMI, especially you, Captain America. Good to see you. And we would also like to welcome any family or friends that could join us today. Thanks also to my FOMI classmates for their confidence in me delivering our graduation address, although somehow I missed the vote. So it may be a collective conspiracy on their part, but regardless, I'll do my best to do them justice. So much goes into making FOMI the great success it has been for the last 20 years, and our group would like to personally thank all the great folks that make it happen. First off, having the support of Fire Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief of Department Hodgins, It's greatly appreciated for what was such a worthwhile program, so thank you to both of you. A tremendous thank you needs to go out to the Columbia professors and staff, especially the exceptional Joanne Bainey, who led us through this rewarding experience every step of the way. Thank you, Joanne. Along with Joanne, we need to recognize Professors Arvid Lukaskis, Bill Emick, Kate Garrett, and Lynn Russell. Without their dedication and professionalism, we couldn't have made it through this journey. A huge thank you also goes out to our program manager, Monica Wiles, who kept us honest and well-informed and did it in such a kind and caring way. Thank you, Monica. For much of my career, I felt as if the FDNY held the patent on having the best and most committed people working for it. But after meeting the Columbia professors and staff, I was clearly wrong in that assumption. Joanne and the rest of the brilliant Columbia staff share the same passion and dedication for their work as we do at the FDNY. And what really stands out is their willingness to share it with others. It's quite clear the Columbia team under Joanne's leadership is 100% invested in the success of the FOMI program, and even more importantly, truly cares about the achievements and well-being of each FOMI participant. This investment towards the FDNY was on clear display when there was a line-of-duty funeral for a fallen firefighter during our second week at FOMI. Joanne and Monica adjusted the whole weekly schedule so that we could properly honor our lost member and attend the funeral. The respect of FDNY traditions by Joanne and her staff will never be forgotten. But it wasn't only the FDNY that experienced a sad event during our time at FOMI. Unfortunately, this past spring, Joanne suffered the passing of her brother back in her hometown of Pittsburgh. So Joanne, on behalf of the FDNY and especially my fellow FOMI participants, please accept our deepest condolence on your family's loss. To all the great people at Columbia involved in the FOMI program, the FDNY and especially the FOMI 2022 group are indebted to you for everything you have done for us. Thank you to Gene O'Shea and the Fire Foundation for the great support you provided during the FOMI program. Without it, this worthy program would not be possible. Thanks to Catherine McGuire and Jeff Garofalo, who facilitate all the behind-the-scenes work that makes FOMI successful. Thank you. Our group would also like to thank the members and FDNY staff advisors who gave the needed advice and support as we navigated through our project research in order to bring them to a successful completion. This distinguished list includes Chief of Department Jack Hodgins, and also recently retired Chief of Department Tom Richardson, Chief of Fire Operations John Esposito, Assistant Chiefs Tom Correo and Mike Galla, as well as the Chief of Training Frank Lieb. We would also like to acknowledge and thank members of previous FOMI groups that came out during the course and gave us the needed confidence that we would finally reach our goals. Our deepest gratitude also go out to the folks at GE and their fantastic facility. They couldn't have been more gracious hosts, especially when overcoming the challenges presented by the ever-changing COVID protocols. The staff at GE provided excellent service, top-notch food and accommodations, as well as state-of-the-art learning centers. The executive-level atmosphere found at GE is second to none. Our group especially looked forward to the Monday morning update from the GE security staff, and aside from one minor smoking violation and a broken folding chair, we got through our time at the campus without a hitch. So hopefully future FOMI groups get invited back. However, there is still an open investigation on where all the Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars went, but I'm hearing the trail has gone cold since we left. Jim, I think you're good. During our time at GE, we did get the opportunity to pass along some institutional knowledge to some of the young GE interns staying at the campus the same week as us. One late evening, Mark and I found ourselves in the vicinity of the bar studying for the next day's assignments. At that point, we heard the term last call. So being the public servants we are, we told a few of the interns to order a few extra rounds so they could extend their night. Hopefully, we didn't derail those Generation Z GE careers before they even had a chance to get started. During our time at GE, we kept the bartenders busy, and if ping pong, foosball, and pool tables weren't broken in before we got there, they certainly are now. There was even a rumor that a live ukulele showdown took place, but as the old saying goes, what happens at GE stays at GE. A big thank you also goes out to the Division of Training staff, including Chiefs Lieb and Downey, for being such great hosts for today's presentations and graduation. And as always, our thanks goes out to the ceremonial unit, who always come through when needed. The FOMI model is well designed. It brings together different aspects of the FDNY into an executive-level learning environment. It's unique in a way that high-achieving individuals come together not only to compete project goals, but to also serve and develop long-lasting relationships where you get to know the person beyond their title or position. Sharing downtime in a social setting allows participants to learn about each other's families, some of the obstacles they had to overcome in order to be where they are today, and what makes them amazing people. FOMI challenges the participants, but more importantly, provides the necessary tools to challenge themselves. But it's done in a supportive way to make sure everyone succeeds. The FOMI experience is one that will pay great dividends, not only in one's professional career in the FDNY, but can carry them throughout their personal lives as well. Commissioner Kavanaugh, Chief Hodgins, thank you on behalf of this particular FOMI group of participants for giving us the opportunity to take part in such a rewarding experience. We are confident the leadership, communication, and management skills that were nurtured and sharpened during our time at FOMI will pay great dividends for the fire department. You can be sure that these terrific individuals are the best and brightest and more than capable of moving our great department forward. They come from all facets of the FDNY. 4 EMS division and deputy chiefs tremendously dedicated to their commands. 2 supervising fire marshals who are always on task thinking about their investigations. 2 civilian members of the department who are as invested in the FDNY as anybody who wears the uniform. 4 outstanding battalion chiefs who lead from the front, working in the Special Operations Command and on Staten Island. And finally, there are 4 seasoned fire deputy chiefs. They've been around a little while, but they may have just a little bit more in the tank to offer the FDNY. I've been blessed to be a member of the fire department for over 30 years now, and for me, the best part of the job has always been the great people that we get to work with day in and day out. I include my time spent in FOMI as another opportunity to add to the list of great individuals the job has connected me with over the course of my career. So I'm going to take a moment to say a little bit about each of my FOMI colleagues so I can keep them here just a little longer and get them back for picking me as their class speaker. Deputy Chief Michael Brown. Mike is an exceptional person. Not only has he had a successful career on the FDNY, Mike has traveled the world as a member of the Peace Corps. He has worked on Alaskan fishing boats, and he lives his passion sailing whenever and wherever the wind takes him. Mike is never one to let hair or height stand in his way, and the best way I can describe what a special person Mike is to use an old Irish saying that he is truly the salt of the earth. Love you, Mike. Supervising Fire Marshal Mark Calici. Mark has a quite quiet demeanor, but it is clear he is focused on his duties as a supervising fire marshal, performing every day in the best interests of the FDNY. Anyone can clearly see that Mark is always on top of his game and is determined to make a difference at the Bureau of Fire Investigation. As we learned during our time at FOMI, Mark happens to be quite the artist, too. EMS Deputy Chief Horace Williams. Horace's calm demeanor is what distinguishes him in what is a stressful job as an EMS Deputy Chief. There is no doubt Horace is the type of person you want on scene when things may be going sideways. I wish Horace nothing but the best in his career and life and look forward to sharing an old stogie with him again someday. Battalion Chief Ed Ryan. Ed is a true professional who is committed to making the FDNY a better and safer job. He takes his leadership responsibilities very seriously, and he does it by demonstrating his concern for the well-being of those under his command. Ed and I were lucky enough to have been the captain of the same great Bronx truck company, and we share in the pride that we hopefully made a difference during our time there. I know firsthand that Ed has earned the respect of everyone he has ever worked with. EMS Deputy Chief Latrice Edwards. Latrice is extremely gifted and has an unbelievable zest for knowledge. She has already achieved great things in her young FDNY career as an EMS Deputy Chief, and it's easy to see she will continue to do terrific things for the FDNY moving forward. She is a fantastic asset to the FDNY. Battalion Chief Ryan Pahalik. Ryan is the definition of a rising star on the FDNY, but what makes him even more special is his ability to read the room. After spending some time around Ryan, it's easy to see his passion for the FDNY, but more importantly, his desire to learn from those around him in order to make the FDNY even better. There is no doubt in my mind Ryan will lead this great department in some capacity in the future. Kelly Carr. Kelly has endeared herself to the FDNY and certainly to our FOMI group. A respected lawyer, not that we hold that against her, who could easily garner a huge salary and be a named partner at any prestigious New York City law firm at this stage of her career, but instead chooses to serve in the FDNY. She brings a dedication and passion to the Bureau of Fire Prevention in the spirit of public and member safety that would rival any uniformed member. She plays a mean game of pool and foosball and is as competitive as anyone I've ever met. The FDNY is very lucky to have her. Deputy Chief Jim Tracy. Jim and I were fortunate enough to come on the job together when we were appointed to the same probie class. Our careers have paralleled each other from the very start. Jim is an exceptional chief officer and has earned the utmost respect from everyone he has ever worked with. He is a wonderful family man and is probably one of the funniest people I've ever met working on the FDNY, which says quite a bit. Assistant Chief Commissioner Mark Arenberg. Mark is extremely knowledgeable and truly dedicated to an exceedingly challenging position. Every morning and during every break, Mark was on task making sure the FDNY's fleet of apparatus, ambulances, and support vehicles kept the job moving. I especially enjoyed Mark's gift of storytelling. So thank you, Mark, for sharing your vast life experiences with our group and me. And by the way, when those 2023 Tahoes come in, make sure you give me a call. EMS Division Chief John Ezeguiar. John is a brilliant individual, very competent and reserved, but no doubt the smartest guy in the room wherever he goes. John has overcome difficult challenges in his life, but has turned those into positives where he can and no doubt will achieve anything he desires in his professional life and beyond. Battalion Chief Thor Johannesson. Thor is the consummate professional who carries himself with distinction at all times, not only an excellent battalion chief in the Special Operations Command, but also serves this great country in the military. Thor is the type of boss you want leading our members from the front, level-headed and decisive, but it's done with a deep concern for the safety of our people. We all want to extend our deepest congratulations to Thor and his wife on their recent nuptials and wish all the best to both of you. I'm sure he took his FOMI group on his honeymoon as well. Deputy Chief Claude Hagan. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Claude for many years when we were battalion chiefs in the Bronx. Claude is humble and unassuming, but make no mistake, he is extremely competent as a chief officer, and he truly cares for the men and women under his command. I am proud to know and work with great people like Claude. Supervising Fire Marshal George Schneider. George is full of personality, and his infectious laugh lights up the room wherever he goes. In true FDNY spirit, there's nothing George won't take on, and he will do it with the passion needed to make it a success. He is well respected at the Bureau of Fire Investigation and was a true asset as a member of our project group. You can't not like a person like George Schneider, and it was a real pleasure getting to work alongside him. Battalion Chief Rick Ferro. It's easy to see that Rick is very proud to be a member of the fire department. He stands out as someone that can be relied on to get the job done, no matter what the challenges involved. For instance, Rick recently took several boats from the Marine Division down to Delaware Bay in order to assist in the extinguishment of a large barge fire. Just wait until the fuel bill comes in for that excursion. That's on you, Chief Moore. But really, it was a pleasure to get to know Rick, working side by side in the same project group, and I'm thankful to have him as a friend. EMS Division Chief Evan Shusecki. Evan has the gift of making everything look easy. He is extremely competent and well-rounded, and it's no wonder he has already distinguished himself on the FDNY. He elevates everyone around him, but he does it with a caring style that makes you want to be on his team. Evan just gets it, and I'm grateful for his friendship and wish him and his wife all the best as they soon welcome a new member of the family. Could even be today. This was a great FOMI group to be a part of, and I'm extremely proud of all these people and consider it a privilege and honor to serve on this great job with them. I would like to end my address by sharing the words of my good friend Mike Fahey, who tragically lost in the line of duty almost 6 years ago. I've already shared my feelings for Mike and his great legacy with this FOMI group during our time together, but it really sums up how I feel about the FDNY. Before Mike was appointed, he wrote a letter to be reinstated to the firefighter list after spending some time in the private sector. In the letter, Mike stated that he, and I quote, needed a career with a higher, more honorable purpose and would like to be a New York City firefighter. Mike's words sum up so eloquently what it means to be a member of the FDNY, and I'm blessed to be able to share it with all of you. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Chief Woods. Now we will present the certificates. I ask Chief Hodgins and Joanne Bainey to step forward for the presentation. Graduates, please come to the stage. We start with Assistant Commissioner Mark Ehrenberg. No. I'll make it easy. Deputy Chief Michael Brown. Deputy Counsel Kelly Carr. Supervising Fire Marshal Mark Calici. Deputy Chief Latrice Edwards. Deputy Chief John Ezeguiar. Battalion Chief Richard Ferrara. Deputy Chief Claude Hagan. Good job. Battalion Chief Thor Johannesson. Battalion Chief Ryan Paholik. Good job, pal. Good job. Battalion Chief Edward Ryan. Supervised Fire Marshal George Snyder. Division Chief Evan Suchecki. Deputy Chief James Tracy. Deputy Chief Horace Williams. Deputy Chief Michael Woods. Let's have a big round of applause for the graduating class of 2022 of the FDNY Officers Management Institute. Congratulations to all. On behalf of the Acting Fire Commissioner, Chief of the Department, and our Columbia University, General Electric colleagues, and FDNY Foundation, I want to thank everyone for joining us on today's ceremony. Congratulations once again to our graduates. This concludes the ceremony. Please enjoy your day.